Hello everyone. Today we continue to look at the if function, an episode of the series technical issue. In the previous video, we already run through a demonstration about how to use the array formula in Google Sheets. Please pay attention to the array formula because there is a slight difference between the array formula in Google Sheets and Excel. So in this week, we will try to go back to a little bit more basic topic which cover the if function. So when it comes to the if function, well, it seems simple, but actually it's not. So I'll think that the most basic thing we need to know is how to write the if formulas. So we need to go through the syntax, and well, we will use a little more complicated data in this section. So we will apply the if function and we clean up the data a little bit into a more readable and understandable form. Well, cool. Now, I just break down our chart, try to keep the video short, and we just need to go through three sections. First, the reference sources, and the second, we talk a little bit about the syntax, and then we use a real case scenario to solve it with the if statement. Okay. Well, as usual, you will see that I always wrap up with an example. Cool. So the source of reference. Well, as you know, we have Excel, we have Google Sheets, so it's safe for you to go back to the genuine source to refer to the syntax. We have millions of websites which have been explaining very well about the if function, and basically the if function is one of the most popular one for the spreadsheet user, and it allows the user to make logical comparison between the value and what you expect. So in other words, you can say that the if function in spreadsheet is used to tell the application to make a decision based on the determined criteria. Okay, so it all started with a logical statement, and it will end with the value. So we mentioned previously it's about making decisions. So it depends on what kind of logical expression you have, and the result of it will come up with different value. So let's look at some example I extracted from the website of Microsoft. So you can see that the most simple if example, like if the cell C2 got the value yes, then the D2 become 1, or it's not, it become 2. So you can look at the syntax at the bottom of the photos, and you can see quite simple, right? Now we have a little difference. Okay, so for those who are doing accounting and finance, you are quite familiar that we try to compare the actual result and the budgeted result all the time. So you can see that on the B column we have a budgeted data, and on the C column we have the actual data. And the logic behind this is the user, they want the D column show the result if that over budget within a budget, right? So they will compare the value from the C cell to the value of the B cell. If C is larger than B, then they will say it over budget. Otherwise, it's within the budget. All right. Now, here is another example of using the if statement. So, I think this is a very interesting example where the user can modify the sale tax to yes or no, and if it say yes, they will calculate the tax, or no, it will do nothing, which shown 0. Cool. Right. Okay, now come to the main part. Alright, on the screen here we have the data extracted from a client account. They showing all the payment, the GST and the PAYG withholding during a period of time during the year you interact with the government. So I will explain a little bit about this statement. So on the first line here on 12/9/2023, we have already paid to the account 8,252. So it will show on the credit side that you have paid. You can see that the running balance reduced from 19,388 to 11,136. On the other hand, on 9/9 of 23, we have the GST liability of 6,752. Will pump up the running balance, which is your debt, into 19,388. So this is the raw data. It just lists out all the transactions you have been lodged and paid with the government during the periods, and well, it say nothing. It's just data. So we want to know within the period how much money have been paid into the account, how much GST we've been lodged and due, and how much PAYG amount have been lodged with the government into your account, right? So the final result should be looking like this. And to do this, there's more than one way to do this, but I try to incorporate the if function into this example to show you how to deal with it. All right, now keep watching for the video of technical